Hello, learners. Welcome to Unit 6.3, Post-Production of Video. Objective 6.3.1, Identifying necessary assembly procedures. Under the unit flow chart, we have the procedures for assembling. Video editing is one of the steps in post-production that consists of selecting, modifying, processing, and assembling several video sequences into a coherent, continuous whole called film or video using video editing software. This activity is composed of a set of coherent parts carried out in a successive and orderly manner, divided into the following phases: preliminaries, editing, and export formats. Editing software. There are two categories of software, free and paid. Generally, next to a paid software, that is a proprietary license, there is a free alternative open source license that offers almost the same functionality. Paid software, there are a number of editing programs available, including Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro, Windows Movie Maker, Pinnacle Studio. Then for free software, it is a non-exhaustive list of free editing software, including Kdenlive, OpenShot, Flowblade, Blender, Shortcuts, Lightworks, etc. The screen shows an editing software, how it can be used, pictures of how an editing software can be used. The prerequisites for the assembly. If you have just finished shooting your video, or if you have just completed the educational content elements of your video capture and you want to start editing, then there are some important preliminary operations to take into account. The most editing software offers features for creating and saving editing projects, but a good habit is to prepare and organize all files, both audio, video, images, and text, in a folder created in a location of your choice on your computer. Using your editing software, you can create and save a new project. The project is created and saved on your machine. All that remains is to start importing the rushes. The rushes are all the shots captured during the shooting of the video. In the case of video capture editing, there are no rushes, only the pre-prepared educational content elements will be imported into the editing software. The derushing activity consists of viewing all the footage shot from the camera or smartphone from the SD memory card or from the internal memory of the camera, and selecting those to be used in the editing process. There are several techniques available for unwrapping. In this case, you can use the following tool to list all the sockets to be used for the installation. Shrinkage during cache acquisition. For the derushing plan, you can consider source of acquisition, sequence number, socket number, time start code, end time code, duration, images, and sounds. Shredding after cache acquisition. In this mode, you must wait until the end of the completion. In this mode, you must wait until the end of the complete acquisition of the shots to carry out the derushing. Cutting from the editing software. From the editing software, use a color tag system to identify which rushes are selected for editing and which are not. Organization of folders and files. To make the editing project easier, you should make sure that the different files to be used in the editing are well organized. Cutting from the editing software. From the editing software, use a color tag system to identify which rushes are selected for editing and which are not. Importing dailies. The project is created and saved on your machine. All that remains is to start importing the rushes, which are all the shots captured during video shooting. Using the assembly plan. Here, the editing plan that was developed in the planning part of the video production project is used. The editing exercise. The editing process is essentially the same on the most editing software. It is an activity that consists of splicing together the takes selected during the derushing phase. Starting the assembly. Under the editing exercise, you have starting the assembly, which includes the actual start of the editing process, marked by the launch of the editing software. The next stage is the transition management, which includes many varieties of transition, including fading, clean transition, fade to black. Then the next stage is the management of the soundtrack, which dedicated tools are used to reduce noise in the sound. Voice over and imported sound should have the same level of volume that do not fluctuate. Musical background stage. If you want to add music on your project, make sure that the duration of the music matches the duration of the different shots in the video. Titles and generics. For any educational video, you should provide a title and opening and closing credits. Video calibration. Color grading is the application of style filters to make the video look more attractive. Adjust the light and contrast. Adjust the light and contrast of the camera correctly. Special effects. Most editing software offers special effects functionality 2D special effects and 3D special effects. You can create effects using Adobe. You can create effects using Adobe After Effects software or download from the internet. Exporting the project. Now that you have finished editing your project, all that remains is to export it in a specified format. The quality of your project will depend on the type of encoding format used. When exporting the project, we recommend the more commonly used MP4 container, sometimes displayed on some software as MPEG-4 AVC H.264. Choose the H.264 or H.265 if available codec for the video track and AAC for the sound track. Thus, for the 16/9 format, which is strongly recommended, use an encoding with the following resolutions: 2160p 284 times 2160, 1440p 2560 times 1440, 1080p 1920 times 1080, 720p 1280 times 720, 480p 854 times 480, 360p 640 times 360, 240p 426 times 4240. Some principles of assembly include: edit your video in 16:9 with square pixels. Avoid false connections. Pay attention to the sound. This unit provided information on assembly procedures required for producing an educational video. This comprises choosing an educational software, whether paid or free. The prerequisites necessary for assembly were also discussed in the unit. The process involved in the editing exercise was equally discussed in details. Now that you have completed this segment of instruction, please engage in the following transformative reflection activities. Focus on your assumptions that underline your beliefs, feelings, and actions regarding assembly procedures required for producing an educational video. Examine and assess the consequences of these assumptions on your belief, feelings, and actions in relation to assembly procedures required for producing an educational video. Consider your learning experiences while completing this segment of instruction. Make a critical reflection of how this instruction has enabled you to identify and explore alternative assumptions or reinforce your existing assumptions regarding assembly procedures required for producing an educational video. If this reflection has enabled you to consider alternative assumptions, test the validity of these assumptions by participating in a reflective dialogue with a critical friend or by engaging in self-reflection. Go through the quiz for self-assessment by circling the correct answers as they apply to each question.